You open the envelope, see the VA seal, and your stomach drops. Then you read the words, "We need additional information," and your mind jumps straight to denial. Stop there. That sentence is not a verdict. It is not an approval either. It is a request that needs to be read carefully. My position is simple. Treat a development letter like a checklist, not a prediction. Today, I will show you how to find the actual request, separate it from general language and dates, and put your next step on one page. Welcome to the Veteran Benefits Reset Podcast, where we help veterans and their families better understand the VA disability benefits process one step at a time. I am your host, Cameron Burrell, a U.S. Army veteran and founder of VetBiz Media. This episode is for anyone who receives a VA letter asking for records, a form, authorization, clarification, or additional information. We will also talk about what that letter is not. It is not automatically a decision letter. It is not the same as a CNP examination notice, and it is not automatically an appeal or decision review filing. This podcast is an independent educational resource. It does not provide legal or medical advice, individualized claims advice, or claim preparation services. Your circumstances are your own. Verify current instructions through official VA resources, and consider working with a VA-accredited VSO, claims agent, or attorney when appropriate. Veteran to veteran, the goal is not to panic or guess. The goal is to understand the next responsible step.
So, what is a development letter? In general terms, it is correspondence connected to the VA's effort to gather or clarify information before making a determination on a claim or issue. The letter might ask about treatment from a private provider. It might request service information, employment details, a completed form, or a signed authorization. It may explain that additional evidence is needed before the claim can be evaluated. The wording can be formal, and standard paragraphs can take up most of the page. That is why the first job is not to interpret the entire VA system. It is to identify what this particular letter wants from you. A decision letter serves a different purpose. It generally communicates a determination, such as a grant, denial, evaluation, or another result, along with reasons and procedural information. A development letter is generally part of the information gathering process before that decision. Read the actual correspondence rather than relying only on a portal label or the envelope.
A CNP examination notice is different again. It may tell you that an examination has been scheduled, where it will occur, how to contact the contractor, or what to do if you cannot attend. That appointment notice is not the same as a written request for records or an authorization. An appeal or decision review filing is another separate category. Higher-level review and supplemental claims have their own requirements and forms. A request for information does not automatically create an appeal, and sending a record in response to a development letter does not automatically become an appeal. Those distinctions matter because the documents can lead to different actions. Before you respond, ask yourself, what type of correspondence am I holding, and what action does it actually request? Education before action. That is the rule for this episode. Now let us decode the actual request. First, what issue is the letter talking about? Write that down in plain language without changing its meaning. Next, what exactly are they asking for? Is it a medical record, a service record, a form, an authorization, provider information, or an answer to a specific question? Then ask who is expected to act. Is the VA asking you to provide something? Is it asking you to identify a provider? Is it explaining that records may be requested if you complete an authorization? Finally, how does the letter say to respond? Look for the stated submission method, mailing address, online option, form number, or other instruction. That last question matters because the response directions may be surrounded by boilerplate. Read the letter once for the overall meaning. Then read it again with a pen or digital note open. Mark only 4 things: the issue, the requested item, the responsible person, and the response instruction. If everything is highlighted, nothing stands out. Here is a clearly fictional example. Imagine a letter says, "Please identify the dates of treatment for your knee condition at Pine Ridge Clinic and complete the enclosed authorization form. Submit the information using the method described in this letter. Do not focus first on what the sentence might mean about the claim. Decode it. The issue is the need condition. The requested items are provider information and an authorization form. The responsible person is the veteran, at least for identifying the provider and completing the form. The submission method is the one listed in the correspondence. The follow-up question might be, does the VA need me to provide the records, or is it asking me to authorize a request for them? That is a much more useful question than, does this mean my claim is going to be denied? The letter gives you a task to clarify. It does not give you a reliable forecast of the outcome. If you already submitted something similar, note when and how you sent it. Keep the confirmation. Then ask how to clarify the file instead of sending random duplicates.
Dates deserve their own careful look. A letter may show the date it was issued. It may contain a response instruction. It may also discuss a separate deadline connected to a decision or review option. Those dates do not necessarily answer the same question. For example, if a fictional letter is dated March 3rd, but you received it on March 10th, record both dates. If it says to respond within a stated period, copy that wording exactly into your notes. If it discusses a separate decision review deadline, put that on a separate line. Do not combine the two just because they appear on the same page. I am not going to give you one universal deadline. Timing can depend on the type of correspondence, the issue, the evidence requested, and current VA procedures. If the instructions are unclear or appear to conflict, seek timely guidance from an accredited VSO, claims agent, or attorney. You can also verify current submission and contact information through official VA resources. Confusion is a reason to ask a focused question, not a reason to guess. And if a response is requested, do not wait until the last possible moment to begin organizing.
Let us make this practical. Open a blank page, spreadsheet, or document. Across the top, write 2 dates. The date printed on the letter and the date you received it. Under that, write the claim or issue. Then create 6 simple columns: requested item, responsible person, submission method, plan date, confirmation, and question. For our fictional example, one row could read provider information and authorization, veteran, method listed in the letter, plan date to be decided, confirmation not yet saved, question about whether the VA or the veteran is expected to obtain the records. As you work, use simple status words: not started, waiting on records, ready to submit, submitted, or confirmation saved. Keep the original letter with your notes. Save a complete copy of anything you send. If you submit electronically, save the confirmation screen or receipt. If you mail something, keep the available proof of mailing or delivery. A family member or caregiver can help maintain the tracker, as long as everyone is working from the same copy of the letter. One page will not solve every issue, but it can replace a stressful cloud of reminders with a visible timeline. There are a few reactions I want you to avoid. Do not treat a request for information as a denial. Do not treat it as an approval. Do not treat it as a rating prediction. And do not assume that every part of your claim is missing evidence simply because one issue is mentioned in the letter. The strongest response is not always the longest response. Sending every document you have, writing a lengthy explanation, or completing the wrong form can create more confusion. Organize what you have, identify why you are sending it, and follow the instruction you actually received. If a provider has closed, moved, changed names, or cannot locate records, document what you tried, when you tried it, and what answer you received. If a form asks for a detail you do not remember exactly, use your available records and distinguish facts from estimates. Do not invent an answer just to fill a blank. And be careful with online advice that promises a rating, approval, or outcome. General information can help you form questions, but it is not a substitute for your own correspondence or current official guidance. Facts over frustration means staying with what you can document. If you ask for help, make the conversation easier by bringing the complete letter, every enclosure or form, your tracker, and copies of submission confirmations. Remove unnecessary personal information when sharing documents informally, and use secure methods when an organization requires them.
You might ask an accredited representative, what type of correspondence is this? What specific action is it requesting? Which date applies to this request? Is there a separate decision review issue I should understand? What should I document after responding? Which official VA source should I check? Those questions are about understanding the process, not asking someone to predict the result. A VSO, claims agent, or attorney may be able to explain correspondence in light of the information you provide. You are still responsible for reviewing facts and understanding anything submitted in your name. You can also use official VA channels for questions about submission or status. Verify current contact information through va.gov or another official VA resource. Responsible help should make the process clearer, not more dramatic.
Let us bring the whole idea together. When a VA letter asks for more information, do not begin by writing the story your anxiety has created. Begin with a document. Read the full letter. Name the issue. Identify the exact request. Separate your task from the VA's task and a provider's task. Copy the dates and instructions into your tracker. Confirm how the response should be submitted. Save your copies and proof. Then ask a focused question if something remains unclear. Your action before the next episode is simple. Create a response tracker for your most recent VA letter, even if you have already responded. Record the letter date, the date received, the issue, the requested item, the responsible person, the submission method, the confirmation, and one follow-up question. If you do not have a current letter, make a blank tracker so you are ready when one arrives. You do not have to solve the entire VA process today. You only need to understand the next responsible step in front of you.
Thanks for listening to the Veteran Benefits Reset podcast. I hope this episode helped you see a development letter differently, not as a forecast, but as correspondence to read, document, and respond to carefully. Remember, this podcast is an independent educational resource. It is not legal or medical advice, and it does not replace guidance from a VA-accredited veteran service organization, claims agent, or attorney. Verify current information through official VA resources. If you found today's episode helpful, follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with another veteran, family member, or caregiver. Download the free 7-step Veteran Benefits Reset Guide at vetbizmedia.com/veteran7. Your service did not expire. Your story is still worth reviewing. Take the next responsible step.